This could be Harbor Freight's best kept secret. Now we know this is not the greatest secret in itself. The T10 scanner has actually been out a few months. We saw it at SEMA, actually played around with it and got it shortly after, and then have actually been using the scanner to see what we think about it. There are some features that actually set this scanner apart, not from all the rest, but really it kind of slides in at a place that's really been lacking, because usually you're seeing the Snap-on scanners, the Bosch scanners, the larger name scanners, if you will, that are in that $6,000, $8,000, $10,000 range once you purchase all the features that it have and the accessories and things like that. And then you kind of get down to the $500, $600 scanners that do a lot of stuff, but are on the small form factor, but still limit in some of the features. And we think the T10 is sliding in there, not in the middle, but really in that huge chasm between that, $400 to $600 range and that $6,000 to $10,000 range, and at $1,700, which is, that's still a large pill to swallow, but it's really meeting all the needs of those high feature-esque across all manufacturers. Of course, asterisk there with all the manufacturers. There's always going to be a limited number of things that it may not be able to accomplish on those specialties in the Audis, the Mercedes, the BMWs, and even into some of the other more out of the norm manufacturers and some of the things that it needs for special functions. Anyway, we think it slides in and kind of bridges that chasm that now you've got a $1,700 scanner that does things like topology. Now, why do we like topology so much? Well, number one, I think it's a great feature in scanning. But number two, I think it's a great purpose, even more so, to make you money, in the fact that many times you get customers that just don't understand why you're charging what you're charging. And I think that topology module, that topology feature, enables you to give them a window to understand of kind of the workflow of a diagnostic system and how you need to approach those different modules, those different fixes, and so on. Now, I'm going to try not to make this a huge, long video of everything this can do. I'm going to touch on a lot of topics of, a quick setup. We're not going to do a huge setup, but quick out of the box, a quick setup, and get right into the action and kind of touch on, the important topics along the way. So please let us know if we missed something. Let us know if you want us to expand on something. Let us know if you want to see it doing specific manufacturer type stuff. Let's dive in and take a look. So this is how you'll get the ICON T10. Very nice case. Be great to keep it in if you don't have a toolbox or something like that. You can put it in foam, laser cut foam trays. In fact, it's kind of a double stack system. So again, nice secure place to keep it if you don't have a place. If you do have a place, it doesn't make sense to keep it in here, just the time sake to pull this out. But if you're a shop owner or something like that and you're letting different technicians use this, and again, great place to store it and keep it secure on the shelf and safe and not going to bang it around. You'll get this little Ziploc bag that has probably a receipt in it, but it also has your activation code, your security serial number as well in this little packet here. We're not going to go over everything in detail, as I mentioned, so let's just get to it. One thing that's really nice here are these wireless battery testers. No, they're not Bluetooth jumper cables, as some have joked. But anyway, wireless battery testers. We'll get to that in just one moment. We're gonna show that. And then you get your T10 tablet, which, by the way, this is a Android 10 based system. I'm sure it will update as time goes on, but I think it's like Android 10 is like a 2020, but it's a very stable platform, so I don't have any problem with that with this scanner. And by the way, if you don't know, T10 can be a 10-inch and should be a diagonal measurement. 10-inch screen is where they get the T10 from. They also have a T7 and a T8 as well, which is going to be a smaller platform. Also, that comes with it a Boroscope, several different accessories with the Boroscope as well, including a magnet and I believe like a 90-degree and a hook on there. So if you need to fish stuff out, you can do so. And that's going to plug USB right there into your tablet. Some other USB cables for charging, and even a USB-A to USB Type-C, or micro USB to USB-A. And then this will be your charger, which is basically a 120 volt power adapter to a USB Type-C, or you can just charge it with USB Type-C. Then we get to one thing that I really like about this is that we do have like a docking station that will not necessarily wirelessly charge this, but it's going to dock in and charge from there. So you're not having to plug the tablet directly into power. You can plug your power right here into here, and then just dock your scanner, and it's going to charge that. This is going to be your Bluetooth OBD2 port sensor or your OBD2 port connector. So literally, I mean, plug this thing in, it should connect, shouldn't be any problem whatsoever, but you may have to go through some Bluetooth setup, but we did not. Literally, we updated the tablet, did everything, plugged this in the OBD2 port the first time, and it connected within a few seconds. This is a wired connector if you need to go that route, or if you need to do some additional accessory wiring. Sometimes on oddball manufacturers, shouldn't say oddball manufacturers, some manufacturers you need to do that, but that's in there as well, and that pretty much sums out the contents of the case. As I mentioned with the docking station, all you have to do is dock your tablet and then it will start charging if you have it plugged in. Right now I do not have that plugged in. And then you also have a USB Type A and a USB Type C port off the front side that you can then charge your phone, charge other tablets, whatever you need to do. Now, I'm not going to walk through a complete setup process. If you want me to do that in another video, let us know in the comments. But right here on the top, basically you have some coverings here. This is a charging port if you're not using the dock. This is a data port, which is probably USB Type A. Yeah, USB A data port. So again, where you plug in your accessories. And then a power button. If you've already powered up, you can just hit the power button, it'll power up. If you haven't powered up, you would hold that down for a few seconds, and then it's going to power up the system. I will say, just like every other ODB2 scanner tablet that I know of, they will lose their charge when they just sit in the box. So make sure that you're either topping this off or leaving it in a dock where it's going to stay charged, or else you're going to pull it out and need it, and it's going to have 1% left or 0. The setup is very easy. In fact, there's a little card right here that will walk you right through it, and really this is all you need. I mean, it gives you a couple of steps, and then you can actually download the manual if you need to. But again, I'm not going to walk through all that. And then this little card here, you'll actually peel off the edges. It's almost like the IRS sent you something. You're going to have your serial number here, and then you're going to open it up, have the activation code inside there. You're going to need both of those things to set it up the first time, and then that should be all you need to do, and then you can basically run into your updates. So I'm going to say okay here. And so from here, this is where you can do everything. So you go to the home screen, that's going to take you to literally the tablet home screen. Hit your icon button, and that's taking you into the diagnostic software. If you go into the toolbox, that's where you can do updates. So you can see update here, and this is where you can have all the different manufacturers, and you can update the ones that you want. Nothing was selected to update. So even into TPMS database, you see Volvo, firmware upgrades. Anything that needs to be updated and installed other than just say the Android version is going to be right here. And again, if I didn't want to update the Audi or the Aston Martin, I wouldn't have to select it. If it were there ready to be updated, it would have a checkbox beside it, and I could select which ones I want to update. I'll be honest, I wanted to see how well it would do. I just selected all when I opened it up and had it update every single one of them, and I haven't noticed any lags or anything, even having all those up to date. So just an easy place to find everything is going to be that toolbox right there as far as any settings and updates and things like that. You can even do backups. If I go into settings here, you'll get some additional items. So like the profile, you are going to need to set up your profile, set up a password, things like that. Also, any images, if you're taking any images or recording anything, that's where it's going to be, is in that library there. And repair information, this is where you can actually go to the Harbor Freight website, the Identifix, or you can actually get into Google, all data repair, whatever you're needing to do. From here, if we wanted to go into TrueFix, which is what you get included with the ICON T10, is you get a membership of TrueFix as well, where it will take you directly into helping you to repair, add account to device. I'm going to say use without an account. That's just for Google Chrome. And it looks like they don't have that up to date just yet. but TrueFix is kind of their OEM repair information that they're going to offer as a free gift when you purchase the ICON T10. And then, of course, we go into diagnostics, and that's where we can do all your scanning for whatever vehicle you're going to. So let's go ahead and dive in and check this thing out. We know we have a battery issue or a charging issue on this vehicle because it just does a really slow start, even throwing this on the charger, topping it off to 100%, still getting a slow start on this. So something's going on with the system. Now, the cool thing is with the ICON wireless battery tester, we can clamp these on here. Just make sure you get a good clamp. And that's all. We'll get a little blue light right here that tells us that hopefully we're connected. And from there, we can go to our tablet. From here, we're going to plug in our Bluetooth OBD2 port, which I'm going to support this because it's broken like many are. And you'll see this light up, and that's it. It takes a few seconds. Okay, we got our OBD2 port plugged in, and now we've got our ICON tablet. We're going to go to the ICON Diagnostics, and I'm going to go into Chevrolet. And now I'm going to go into automatically search. Yes. Turn ignition on, key to on position. I've got it. 2008 Chevrolet Avalanche. Yes, that's it. And then it's asking me for HVAC or AC controls. It's automatic. We're going to go to automatic. And then Z95. Yes. So from here, we can do your typical stuff. This is a huge selling point for this tablet, and that is the system topology. I don't think people use this enough, especially technicians, because it does several things. Number one, it gives you kind of a hierarchical or even kind of a workflow type scenario of all the sensors, of everything you're reading in a topographical form. In other words, kind of a workflow scenario. Now, the reason I think this is so important is because I think you can use this customer facing to explain a lot of things. When you're talking to them in mechanic lingo, they don't know what you're talking about. Doctor, lawyer, business person, whatever. You're talking above them, and they don't like that. I know that from years of software sales. So when you can show them a picture graph or a workflow scenario where you can say that, hey, things are downstream that are affecting things that are upstream, and vice versa, all of a sudden that clicks in their mind. You give them a picture that they can understand of why you want to, change that O2 sensor, why you want to change something in the transmission or do a transmission service, because all of those things are now showing up, and all of a sudden it's clicking in their brains why that may be important now. So that's going to give you that upsell capability, but also doing something that's going to have value to them. We'll get to that in just one moment because these things will turn red and green and everything else, but not going to get into that just one moment. I'll go back to our system list. I'm going to first back to our menu, and I'm going to click battery system test. We hook those cables to our battery. I'm going to go into battery test, and now it's connecting. It says connection succeeded. So now I know it's communicating with those wireless cables that we actually put on the battery. In-vehicle battery test, yes. Is it standard flooded, AGM, or gel? It is an Optima red top. I know that's an AGM. And so I'm going to select AGM and select next. Cold cranking amps. Next, it is, I believe it's 800. I'm going to just select 800, or you can actually put exactly how much. But again, I know it's 800 cold cranking amps. Start test. And again, just yesterday we charged this, topped it off, and now you'll see something here. Battery voltage 11.73. We know that should be much higher than that. Battery state of charge is saying 0%. That's probably not exactly accurate because we have charged it. It is starting the vehicle, but something is majorly wrong with this. Battery state of health 6%. I'd probably agree with that. Rated cold cranking amps 800. Measured cold cranking amps 190. Hello, there's our slow start if we're only getting 190 cold cranking amps. Now, we can, screen cap that and just, hit the screen cap icon, and it'll actually take a snapshot of that and save it for us. Or we can actually go in and say, you know what? I'm going to go into system test. Please turn off all electrical components, car lights, radios. Let me go ahead and kill the lights here. And say confirm. Press test, then start the engine to begin starting cranking test. So test, crank the truck, and here's where you're going to hear it. So very slow start on this, and there you have it. Starting voltage 6.89 volts. So when we're actually pulling a load on this, it's really pulling down very low. Start duration 2016 milliseconds. And now I can go into charging test. So I like that linear movement of I'm not going back and forth, back and forth. I did the battery test, then it says, hey, do you want to do a starting test? And now it's saying, hey, do you want to do a charging test? And we're doing all with the wireless clamps that are on the battery right now. Next steps will begin starting cranking test. Please start the engine, turn on the headlights. So we'll turn the headlights back on. We'll turn the radio on. We'll turn climate control on. And then click test. Now this is testing our charging circuits, right? Our alternator, making sure everything is charging. Charging system test. Okay, so it says rev engine to 2,000 to 2,500. And so it looks like we're absolutely fine there. 14.3 volts, and diode ripple value even gives you that. So pretty cool that now we've gone from battery test to starting test, and then even to the charging test as well. All right there from the same screen, or progressively going down that screen. And I can exit and save this. And now that's saving everything. You'd like to end your wireless battery session? Yes. And now that takes me back to my main screen. And now let me show you something else. I don't know if you can see this dash right here, but the only lights on the dash is the restraint light, or the ABS light there. Not the ABS light, but basically your system restraint light there. I know it's got some airbags that have been deployed. The bags have been replaced, but the new sensors haven't been installed yet. But there are no engine diagnostic lights on here. There's nothing saying that there's anything wrong with the running of this engine, which it does run very well. But let's go into diagnostics, and let's just go into the ECM. In fact, let's just select all of these, and then we're going to all system code scan. And so now it's going to run through here. And let me try something. I'm going to go into system topology while it's scanning and see if it's going to do that. Yeah, so it's showing here the ones that scanned in green, everything's okay, and then it shows the ones that it's currently scanning. So I can bounce back and forth between the list or the system topology to actually see what's going on here. And as it scans, everything's fine, everything's normal, we're going to see the green, and trouble codes are going to show in red. Again, just a great picture graph, if you will, of kind of showing what's happening here, and definitely a great customer-facing type of experience, because they may say, well, I've got no lights on my dash other than the system restraint, but then you can show them here, listen, we've got a lot more things going on. It may not be throwing an engine code yet, but we got things even other than the body. So obviously those are the body modules, but then we get down here in the chassis, we got things going on the chassis, the radio, the powertrain. So we got 3 ECM codes showing up, and it's still scanning here. And from here I can clear DTCs, or I can actually click on and say, let me go to the ECM, and it tells me crankshaft position, evap, and brake circuit switch. So gives us our codes that we can go in. We can go directly into TrueFix. We can go into Code Assist. So there we are in TrueFix, and it actually went to it this time. It says buy now for $2.99. I probably have to log in with my login, and I would be fine. But we're not going to worry about that right now. Let's just go back. We see the different pages open. Go back to our software. But you can see how we can click at each one. Video display mode control, so on the radio. So we can see everything in that topographical format, or more of a kind of a workflow scenario. And again, you can see what's downstream of one another and so on. Or if I wanted to see a list, I can see it that way as well, where all the faults are going to float up to the top, and then we can click on them as we need them. Okay, going to try this on a little different vehicle. Got this on a BMW F10 series, or a M5, 2016 M5. Sometimes they can be a little quirky. Diagnostic app. It's pulling the VIN, make, model, 2016, 4.4. Yes, that's all correct. I'm going to say okay. It may take a second for this to connect, and it might do a couple of extra things. Getting the VIN. Yeah, so then it runs through, basically gives all the specific information. Yeah, M5, gearbox manual, not really, but it's a dual clutch automatic. Okay, so I'm going to say next. Ignition switch will be automatically switched during the test. Be aware of safety, ensure the vehicle is stopped, blah, blah, blah. We're okay. I'm going to say okay. And you'll hear some different modules click on and off here. The ignition switch will go on and off here in a second. There it goes. So now it's running through all of the different modules. I'm even hearing things clicking under the hood. And now here we go. Now we have a list of all the modules. Again, I'm going to, really heavily emphasize the system topology, especially on a vehicle like this, and how it just shows all the different modules connected together in kind of a Christmas tree type of effect that shows that kind of everything's connected and talking to one another. Just gives a nice picture of how these systems work. And I can select all of these. I can do an all system scan if I want to, right there. Or I can go back to my system list, select which ones I want. I'm going to go back to topology and say all system code. And you see now it's running through. And again, we're going to get that same green is okay. Red's going to be trouble codes found. And white is that it's not scanned yet. And you'll see it kind of jump around scanning these different things. And by the way, on a vehicle like this, your Audis, your BMWs, your Mercedes, really any vehicles anymore, highly recommend a trickle charger connected to it while it's doing this, because it's going to actually, using that battery to talk to everything, and you don't want it dying during a procedure like this. You can see my battery saying down to 12 volts right now. So I probably should have a trickle on there. I don't. Got a couple of trouble codes showing up. Again, didn't have an engine light on, but got a few trouble codes showing. So if I go in here and it says, okay, control seat ventilation. So it looks like that it's had an alarm that at least one fan has had an issue. And right here I can go into web search and see what Google has to tell me about it. There's a couple of Beamer forums. So there's Beamer Fest. There's F10 M5 post where I can get help from my fellow patrons of BMWs there, right there from the code, from that system topology. Or again, I can go into the TrueFix and get help with that as well, or just screenshot it right here. And, now I know what codes I need to work with. So I can back out of here. I also want to go to special functions and just show you all the different things from the drive module here, resetting generator statistical stuff, petrol particulate filter, Valvetronic lift adaptation, tons of different special codes or special tasks here. And let me back out of here. So those are, special functions, commonly used special functions. So go there, and this is where you can do your service reset, brake pad change, register a battery change. So if you swapped out a battery, you have to go through procedures in the battery change, ABS, throttle learning, tire pressure reset, suspension transmission learning. So if you're doing transmission service, so all of your normally used items and special functions are right there under the commonly used special functions. So very happy to see that. It looks like they've definitely done some homework. That's not just going to be, heavy domestic or heavy Asian or heavy, Japanese, what have you. You're going to be able to, European, Asian. You're going to be able to really have a good look at all the different manufacturers right here with the T10. Go back here. We'll go to exit. Are you sure you want to exit? Yes. That's pretty cool right there. What that is saying is to make sure that you get your wireless module. And then let's take a look at the endoscope or the Boroscope that comes with this. So it plugs in USB, Has a couple of buttons right here. We'll go over this, and here's the end. Looks like about at least a 3-foot lead on the camera itself. Small enough to fit into any, looks like injector port or even a spark plug hole for sure. And we get a couple of additions to this as well for the camera end, and pretty cool little features. Let's go ahead and plug this in. So right here on the top of the tablet, I'm just going to plug it in the USB Type A port. And then from there, go into our ICON software. And right here it says inspection camera. I'm going to turn that on, and you can see right away now we're seeing through the camera. Now here's a couple of things. As I was mentioning, the ends that come with this, which by the way there are a few ends that come with this. I think I already talked about them for a second, but there's 3 additional ends. There's a hook, so you drop a keychain down the spark plug hole. Don't know how you do that. But anyway, if you needed to hook something, you could do that. Even in an engine bay, you drop things, a 10mm socket, you can fit inside there and fish that socket out of there. So that comes with it. Also, you get a 90-degree mirror there so you can see sideways and be able to, see the cylinder wall scoring without having to angle that camera. And then this here, I saw somebody actually misrepresent what this is. They mentioned something like covering the light up. That's not what this is. This is actually a magnet. So when you drop that wood screw down the intake, I don't know why you'd have a wood screw in there. Don't know why I have a wood screw in here. Anyway, you get it. You've got a magnet now that you can fish things out as well without just a hook. So that's a really cool, and it doesn't just slide on. You can see here, it's actually a thread-on design for each of these. You're not going to lose them by them just sliding off. So now I need to go down, I need to fish something out. I've got that screw down the cylinder. I can hook that and pull it out now. And also the 2 buttons here, you can actually take pictures. See the camera button, or see the camera on the tablet, and I can just hit the button here on the endoscope, and it takes a picture of that. If I hit the other button, that's going to turn on our light. So it's low, medium, and high. It's going to shine. And then also if I click the mode button right here on the tablet, it will change from picture to video. So now when I hit the button, I can actually record. And just so you know, it's actually recording audio as well. The audio is not great, but still, if you were looking at a cylinder wall, a valve, something like that, you can say, hey, Mr. Customer, here's the scoring that we see on your cylinder walls, blah, blah, blah. Hit the button again, that stops it, and then it's going to save it in the gallery. So pretty cool little accessories that come with this. And so you're not just stuck with a one-trick pony here. And then we can look in the gallery here, or if I actually go to home screen and go to the gallery here, it's going to be saved there as well.
Record, and just so you know, it's actually recording audio as well. The audio is not great, but still, if you were looking...
Yeah, not the best speaker, or maybe not the best mic, but regardless, that's not what we bought it for. We're not buying this to be our, our stereo. But the ability to, again, record data that you need, that you can use to show back customers, whether it's just covering your bases or whether it's to explain to the customer what's actually going on here. Listen, for the price and the features that the T10 scanner offers, we think it's a good value. We really do. Again, can you find things cheaper? Yeah, in fact, they have a T7 and a T8 scanner that may not have the topology, may not have the Boroscope or endoscope, may not have some of the other things, but still very feature-esque that you can get much cheaper. But the T10 scanner just offers a lot more value with the things that it has included with it, including things like the TrueFix subscription that you get with it as well. I believe that gives you, 1 year. I believe it's a 2-year warranty on this, and the software updates are going to last 2 years as well. Don't know how much it's going to be after that, but check it out. You can buy it at Harbor Freight. We'll have a link in the description that'll link you to their online store, but you can also buy it at your local store as well. In fact, this may be a local store only purchase. Anyway, let us know what you think. Let us know if we missed something. Let us know if you want us to dive deeper into something specific. Otherwise, keep track of us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and even TikTok. And if you don't mind, hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done so already. And by all means, if you hated our video, how could you hate our video? Well, then give us a thumbs down, but let us know in the comments why. Have a great day and keep smiling.